This is attorney Vince Davis, and the show is The Secret, How to Fight Child Protective Services and Win. I'm here this afternoon. We are missing Terry Greenstein. Hopefully he is doing well with his medical recovery from a heart attack. And Terry, we will have you in our prayers, and we hope to see you back on the radio with us next Saturday. Before I go into the calls, I just want to mention something. People have been asking me a question about drug testing for CPS. Now, here in California, there is no law that requires you to drug test for CPS before the case starts. So if a social worker tells you, hey, you have to take a test, that's basically not correct. You do not have to take a test. There is no court order that mandates you to be able to take a test, and the social worker cannot require you to take the test. But here's the little, I think, trick that comes in. If they do file a case against you, when you go to the first hearing, the judge may order you to take a drug test. Now, what I usually do is I tell, the judge, with all due respect, that the court doesn't have the power to order the drug test, and you do not have to take the drug test until after the jurisdictional and dispositional hearing, which will happen, 3 to 4 weeks in the future. So that's the answer to the question. You do not have to take drug tests, if a social worker requests it, and you do not have to take drug tests before the jurisdictional and dispositional hearings. Now, after those two hearings, that's a completely different story. If the court orders you to take drug tests and you don't take them, there is a strong possibility that the children may not be returned to you. So at that point in time, you should consider it. Now, there's also something I want to mention. Sometimes at the beginning of the case, it may benefit you to take the drug test after you appear in front of the judge. The judge may have some concerns and may ask that you, want to take a drug test to prove to him or her that you do not have a drug problem or are not using any type of illegal drugs. So, before you make a decision either way, you probably should talk to an attorney who has expertise in this particular area. And a lot of people call this the family law area or the CPS area or the DCFS area. The correct name of this area of law is the juvenile dependency laws and the juvenile dependency courts here in California. I know we have listeners from other states. They may call it something different in your state, but you'll be able to find out that name by Googling a juvenile dependency or CPS law in your particular area. Okay, now that we got that straightened out, let's take our first call from Darlene in Fresno, California. Darlene, you're on with attorney Vince Davis. Did you have a story to tell or a question to ask?
A question.
Go ahead.
Okay. I got my daughter taken away, and I want to know, I have proof of my daughter with a black eye when I went to go visit her. Am I supposed to get an attorney because I have the proof of my daughter with the black eye?
Okay, how old is your daughter?
3 years old.
Okay, so it becomes important how she got the black eye. Was it an accident? Was it intentional? Was it abuse by the foster parent or someone else in the foster parent's home? Just having a black eye is not enough to do something. But I would agree. It sounds alarms, and there's some type of problem going on that may want to be resolved. So have you asked?
I'm not done yet.
Okay.
My little girl told me that the foster dad is touching her in her private parts and showed me on a book, a storybook, where he's touching her at in 2 places.
Have you reported this to the social worker on the case?
Yes, and she didn't do nothing about it.
Did you report it to your attorney?
I don't have an attorney. I barely got an attorney.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm confused. You say you do have an attorney or you don't have an attorney?
I barely got an attorney.
Okay.
I barely just found one.
Okay. In Fresno County, don't they appoint you an attorney if you aren't able to afford one?
Yeah, but he is best friends with the judge.
Well, sometimes that can work in your favor. But, this is something that you have to report to your attorney and see if your attorney can help you out. And you have to report it to the social worker. And if I were you, I would email the social worker so that you'll have proof that you have reported this incident, the black eye, and also the alleged touching by the foster parent. Do you have the
Yes,
social
I
worker?
already.
Do you have the social worker's telephone number?
Yes, I already did that.
Okay. Do you have the social worker's email?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I think
I
that's
forwarded the picture of the black guy with my daughter.
That's what I think that you should do. Concentrate on doing those things this week and call us next week and give us an update. Maybe I'll have some other information to give you or giving other advice depending on what your attorney or what the social worker says. How's that, darling?
Yes.
Okay.
You answered my question.
Thank you very much for calling and keep listening.
Thank you. You're welcome.
I want to let the audience that we're broadcasting live on Facebook Live on the Facebook page for this radio show. It's The Secret, How to Fight Child Protective Services and Win. I noticed that there was Cynthia who's watching on Facebook Live. You had a question. Cynthia, if you have a question, why don't you call into the show, 800-222-5222, and we'll see if we can answer that question for you. All right, let's take another call. Natasha from Rancho Cucamonga. Hi,
Yes.
Natasha.
Hi. Yes, my question is, I wanted to know if someone loses their parental rights and their kids are adopted off, can they still go back and reopen the case and get them back?
Good question. Theoretically, it can be done, but it's difficult. It's difficult to do, and it's an uphill battle. Under the family code, there are a couple of reasons why you can make a motion to reopen. And, typically there's one that's popular, and that's, things that happen based upon fraud. So theoretically, you can do it, but it's very difficult. A lot of attorneys would probably tell you, no, you can't do it. And they're just, predicting the outcome that they believe would happen. And I think in my 31 years of being an attorney, I only heard of one time that being successful. That doesn't mean you shouldn't try if there has been fraud or some type of wrongdoing in your case where you lost your parental rights. Does that answer your question?
Kind of, yes.
Okay. If I didn't answer the question completely, ask me.
You did.
Okay.
Okay, with that being said, would I be able to still sue Children's Services?
Well, that depends on a lot of different factors. There's a time limit for suing Child Protective Services, and it's generally 2 years from the date of the last event of wrongdoing. Now, there are provisions in the law where you can what they call toll the statute of limitation that would give you additional time to sue, but that's on a very specific case-by-case basis. And if you wanted to have a consultation about that, I don't mind talking to you on the phone or you coming down to the office, and I can just give you some information about your specific issue and problem. My telephone number is 888-888-6582, 888-888-6582. So call me on Monday, and if I'm not there, leave a message or set up an appointment for in-person or on-the-phone appointment. Okay, Natasha?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for calling. Before we take another call, there's something that I want to talk about. And I had a long conversation with a prospective client today, and she wanted to sue the social workers and the county for civil rights violations. But she wasn't interested in the money. She was only interested in making a change in how the government and how CPS workers, act. And I told her that, suing probably wasn't a good strategy. That if she wanted to make change, that's done at the ballot box. And we talked about getting voters together as a block to vote for county supervisors, to vote for state legislatures, to vote for, Superior Court judges who sit in CPS courts all over the state of California. So in California, judges are either appointed and they have to face re-election, or they're elected and they have to face re-election. So the power of the vote is very significant. So if you want to make change, contact me at my email, v.davis@vincentwdavis.com, and I'd be glad to help organize people county by county, state by state, in voting and making a change in the CPS system throughout the country. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to pay some bills. Keep listening. Come back. I'm taking many more calls. Hi, this is Vince Davis. We're back. And I want to give a special shout out to Devona in Maryland. She's watching us on Facebook Live. The Secret, How to Fight Child Protective Services and Win. You know, before I take any more calls, I want to have a special guest who's on the phone. His name is Arthur La Cilento. He is a colleague and a very good attorney out of the Orange County area. Hey, Art, are you there?
Yes, Mr. Davis, can you hear me?
Yes. How you been doing?
Fine, Mr. Davis, how are you?
Good. You can call me Vince, Art.
All right, Vince.
So you involved in any interesting CPS or DCFS cases these days?
Yes, I was two things that I think the topic you brought up on your show today was very interesting regarding what parents have to do when the social worker and the police are knocking on the door and they're demanding immediate drug tests. I think that's a very important issue because sometimes that could make or break a case. I think what's important in that situation is, number one, find out if your client has the ability to give a clean test. If they can, sometimes it's good to get it because otherwise, I hate to say it, social workers can be very spiteful. They're human beings and they have a lot of power. They will then ask for a protective custody warrant, even under suspicion of illegal drugs. I agree with you. There's no court order or mandate. They do that. However, if you can try to get the social workers to go away and not have your child removed, and then you're sitting in a court and your child's in foster care, you want to avoid that at all costs. So number one is, if there's any ability to keep your child from being removed, that's the number one concern. And sometimes I will tell my clients in the situation privately, in private consultation, attorney-client privilege, I'll tell them, look, if you can get the clean test, that may have this problem go away. Because sometimes that keeps them from getting a protective custody warrant and removing a child or children from the home. And sometimes they can do lesser intrusive means of interacting with your family, such as what they will call as a family, a private agreement where you agree to do certain services and they won't remove your children. Or if they see sometimes the clean test, they may go away. So there's some kind of prophylactic measures you can take to prevent from the terror of having your family broken up and your children in a foster home. So you always want to see if there's a way you can keep the social workers from removing the children. That's your first goal. That's the first goal I try to do when I have that situation.
Right. Hey, Art, stay on the line. I want to take a call from Rochelle from Vallejo. She has a question about drug testing. Rochelle?
Yes, hi.
Hi. What was your question about drug screening or drug testing?
Okay, my question is, how far in the case are they required to suggest you drug screen? Like in my situation, they removed my children. They terminated my services. They denied my bonding study. Right now, I went to court yesterday. I didn't have an attorney present. He didn't show up. I'm trying to do a 388 motion, no attorney. And they wanted me to do a drug screen a couple of days ago. I went in the morning and gave one, but I'm wondering, why did they want me to do that? And the drug screen, they turned my prescription pain medication into a drug dependency deal here, and I was being prescribed that for many years, and they keep testing me for something that my doctor was giving me, even though I don't take it now. But I'm just wondering why would they do that?
Well, they're
It's
doing
late.
it. Well, they're doing it to try to find evidence to use against you, right? If they were your friends and trying to help you, you'd have your children, but they're just trying to build
Correct.
more and more a bigger case against you. Now, you mentioned that your family reunification services has been terminated, so you're moving to the
Yes.
366.26 hearing, where they're going to try to terminate your parental rights. Are your
Correct.
children at least placed with friendly relatives right now?
No, they were strangers, and the thing is that this case has had so many turnarounds, different caseworkers, judges. My judge retired. We got another judge now. They totally just blackballed me. They didn't give me the phone visits, the things that were important to bond me and my children. They didn't follow through with it. The judge ordered it, and they didn't do anything that the judge ordered. And when I was in court, I said, well, where are my phone calls? Nothing's happened. How about our family counseling? That didn't happen. They made sure that we didn't have family counseling. Now the bonding study, they dropped the ball on that. So we're due to go back to trial, and I don't know how without an attorney present. It's just, I don't know what to do right now. They wanted me to do a drug screen. I said, what do you guys want that for? And you don't even want me to bond with my children. Like, what is this? I was really confused,
Right.
And I didn't get any answers. I just did it. I went and took the drug screen.
Right.
My first mind was to say, no way, forget it. I got to work. You guys are just screwing around with me. But I went ahead and did it. But my first mind told me, don't even do it. But I did it.
Rochelle, do you have a pen and a piece of paper? Because I'm going to tell you a few things that you need to do ASAP, okay?
Okay, one moment.
The first thing is this attorney issue. Now, in California, if you're not able to hire an attorney, the court has to appoint you an attorney. So I'm confused when you say you have an attorney, but then it sounds like you had one. Maybe he or she isn't doing anything, but you have to have an attorney. So do you have a court-appointed attorney?
Yes, and he didn't show up.
Okay. So one of the things that you want to do is you might want to ask the court or ask the attorney to have what's called a Marsden hearing so that you can get appointed a new attorney so that that person will be able to help you. You're moving towards a very important hearing coming up, the termination hearing. If they terminate your rights, you probably would lose your children to an adoption. So, you're going to have to move fast, and you're going to have to get someone that's going to help you. The second thing I want you to know is you're going to have to file a motion for that bonding study. I don't know if we have Art on the line with us, but Art La Cilento is an expert at getting bonding studies granted. So you need to talk to an attorney that does that. We also do it. If you want to call me, please call me, but Art is an expert at that bonding study. And although I don't have his telephone number, I think it's 714. Okay, Art, are you there?
Yes, I am, Vince.
Okay.
Okay.
Tell Rochelle how to get in touch with you.
Sure. My phone number is 714-526-0450. Once again, 714-526-0450.
Also, Rochelle.
Okay, 526-0450. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Rochelle, the other thing you have to do is you're going to have to file a 388 petition and ask for more family reunification services, ask for a placement with friendly relatives, ask for, better visitation, more frequent, more liberal visitation with the children. And you're going to have to show the court what you're doing or what you have been doing. I have a feeling, I'm just going to guess, that when they terminated your reunification services, you probably didn't have a trial, did you?
I've had several trials. we're going into 3 years now. I've had several trials, different lawyers, different judges, different caseworkers. All the workers, they quit. My circumstances have changed immensely since the case, started up. I started my career back. I'm a bus driver, transit operator, which requires extensive, you have to really be on top of your game to get that license and drive for the city. And I maintain housing. I've been to therapy for 2 years. I no longer take prescription pain medication, so I'm not being prescribed it anymore. So, those were it was poverty related. I was struggling financially, and these are the bases that they kept my children from me for. Mm-hmm. The lack of income, the pain medication I was being prescribed, and also the abuse from spousal abuse. I was suffering from depression from that. So this is why they kept my kids.
Rochelle, where is Vallejo in California? What county is that?
It's in Solano County.
Solano County, okay. So please try to get in touch with your court-appointed attorney, or if you can, please try to get in touch with a private attorney in that area that can possibly help you because you're...
Yeah, but he's they said that he is out of the country or something. This guy, he's just not available. Right. He won't return my calls, and we went to court. He wasn't there. So I don't know what to say.
Okay. Well, Rochelle, what I want you to do is I want you to call me on Monday, 888-888-6582. And I'm going to see if I can give you some advice or try to help you. Rochelle, thank you for listening, and we'll hear you hopefully next week or a week after with an update from you on what's going on with your case, okay? Thank you, Rochelle. Okay, we've got to pay some more bills, so we're going to take a break right now, but keep listening. This is The Secret, How to Fight Child Protective Services and Win. Okay, this is Attorney Vince Davis, and the show is The Secret, How to Fight Child Protective Services and Win. And we have a guest this afternoon. It's Attorney Arthur La Cilento. Art is in the Orange County area, but I know he represents people all over Southern California. I see him and have worked with him on cases in Los Angeles, in Orange County, in Riverside, in San Bernardino, even in Ventura, Art. We've been on cases against each other and with each other in Ventura even.
Yes, numerous counties, and the goal, Vince, as you know, we're trying to help people not lose their family.
Do me a favor, give your telephone number out one more time so people that are listening can contact you.
Sure, 714-526-0450. Once again, 714-526-0450.
Art, do you have any interesting trials coming up?
Well, I'm in the middle of one that's very ugly. It's based on a family law case that's been going on for 11 years, and it's dealing with parental alienation issues where the case starts off in family law case, and then they alienate the one child against the other parent, and then the child makes false allegations because the child's been so coached by the other parent, and it's got all kinds of issues, and it's been going on for almost 11 years, and I'm in the middle of that one. It's a pretty ugly affair.
How many days of trial have you been in so far?
At least 7, but the judge got sick, and we're going to start again in about a week.
Wow. All right, let's take another call. Let's talk to, is it Janie from Paris? Janine, I'm sorry. Hi, Janine.
Hi.
Did you have a story to tell or a question to ask?
I do. I have both. Okay, so we found out about our grandson being in foster care in 2016. When we contacted the social worker, the initial phone call, when she finally called back after weeks, she told me and my husband, that my husband's words to her was, I heard my grandson is in foster care. You're the social worker, and I want to know what to do to get my grandson. She said he's with the family. After we gave his name and all, she said, yeah, I do have him. He's with the family friend with all of his siblings They're in a good home. And something about some California law is to keep all the kids together, and she will not be giving us to him because she was keeping it with the family friend. We didn't know our rights or nothing at the time. So my husband's next question was, well, I want to be a part of his life. Can I have visitation? She said yes. So come to find out, one of the kids was not. It was 6 kids. 5 was in foster care. 1 was with his paternal grandmother. We didn't find that out from the social worker. We found that out from the foster parent. Also, it's just a long story. Well, it's December 9th. We've been fighting. They guardianship my grandson out. There was another kid that came upon the case in 2017 that was a possible our grandson as well. We never was told about this child. He went straight to foster care. We found out from the foster mom that she was possibly getting another sibling. She was not doing good with my grandson. They've been generally neglected. Lancaster has been overlooking our complaints. So we found out when we contacted the social worker that he was possibly our grandson. So we ended up going to court, but the child passed away. He ended up passing away. In the court, it was told if it was our grandson, we were going to get him. But he passed away in October 2016. So we had a meeting we just found out July 2019 that the 4-year-old that's in that home carries our last name. So we contacted Bob Pago, Ginger Pryor, Karen Richardson. We had a meeting with them to address our complaints. They told us that they'll reach back out to us after they do an investigation. They never did. We reached out to them last month, saying it's been over a month. So they said, "Oh, well, come in." So we go up to Lancaster. They tell us that my husband told the social worker he didn't want his grandson. He wanted to leave him in foster care. We've been fighting them since 2016 to get him. So every question when we asked, they wouldn't answer. So they never brought up about the 4-year-old because we asked them December 9th. He carries our last name. We were never told that. Is it because you guys did a DNA and it came back not to be ours? And we do understand you guys not telling us about him. Can you check to see if there was a DNA test done? January 31st, when we went and met with them, they told us when we asked the question, they were advised we asked, did you guys find the DNA? Is that the reason why? County council advised them to not answer that. Mm. So we don't know if this child is ours or not, but they won't tell us if there was a DNA test done.
Right. And
County council, go ahead.
No, Janine, This is a common problem in many counties that I appear in. It's a very sad situation. I was personally raised by my grandparents on my father's side. So, Art, what advice would you give Janine?
I have a lot of advice because I have this happen all the time. It's a travesty in juvenile court. I just had a case yesterday. I just got hired by grandparents. We're told they had no right to go to court, no right to be heard, and it's absolutely false. And, ma'am, you have a lot of rights that have been violated here. Number one, you have a right to file a request for disclosure of juvenile records on exactly what you're doing. Okay, so number one is it's called Welfare and Institutions Code 827 petition. It's a petition for juvenile records. You need to file that to request copies of any DNA test results that show that you may be a relative. Number two, if you are a relative, the rights of relatives are being violated every day by numerous counties in California because under Welfare and Institution Code Section 309, they're supposed to give you written notice of your rights to placement, your rights to all those things so that you're not in the situation you're in. So legally, social services is supposed to put in writing to you, your family members, what your rights are to try to obtain placement of a child or children that's a family member. And I've been fighting courts with this for years. I believe a lot of grandparents and relatives are being wrongfully informed. They're not being properly noticed. So your problem is very common. I'm sorry to hear about a deceased child, but you should not give up. You should try to get the records. You have a right to petition. That's number one. Number two, if you want placement, you can file. You can hire somebody like Vince or somebody who specializes in juvenile cases to file a motion. It's a 361(3) or relative placement motion, or a 388 to request placement, visitation, or whatever. So you just don't have to sit there in the dark. There's things you can affirmatively do to get information and protect your rights.
We never gave anything. They never gave us any paperwork. We never signed anything. They never notified us of nothing, anything.
Janine,
yes.
What I want you to do is I want you to call me on Monday at my office, 888-888-6582. Everything that Mr. La Cilento has told you, that's what you need to do. Maybe I can help you walk through that. Also, I'll talk to you about possibly having your family's or your civil rights violated by the Department of Children and Family Services, and you might be able to look at a federal civil rights lawsuit. As Art said, this is a travesty of justice. I see these grandparents. I get these calls every week, and I'm sure Art does too. So I want you to call me on Monday, and we'll take it from there, okay?
Okay. Thank you so much.
May I add one more thing?
Sure.
I want to tell you what happened yesterday in juvenile court in Orange County. I went in there. I won't mention the case name or any confidentiality. And I filed a de facto parent motion for grandparents who had the child for 13 months. And they were told they had no right to attend hearings, receive any information. And then the minor's attorney objected to me being in the courtroom to file the motion or be heard on an issue which is against the law. There's actually a California rule of court in a case called Charles S. that says relatives have a right to be present. It's an entitlement under California Rule of Court 5.530B2 and 3. They also have a right to counsel at juvenile proceedings because relatives have a right to protect their own rights. A lot of relatives and grandparents think that if the parent gets it together, everything's going to be fine, it's going to go away. They don't understand. These cases can go to adoption. They may never see their loved one again. So it's critical that you get an attorney like Vince or someone that can go in there and protect the relative rights and the grandparents' rights so that you don't get lied to or misinformed by social services. So it's critical you understand the law. It's amazing in juvenile court how relatives will be told they can't come to court, they have no rights, can't be heard. That's not true.
All right, thank you for that. Janine, I'll be expecting your call on Monday. This is The Secret, How to Fight Child Protective Services and When. We'll be right back after these messages.
You're listening.
Okay, this is Attorney Vince Davis, and the show is The Secret, How to Fight Child Protective Services and When. We're running out of time for this afternoon, so I'm going to try to take one more call. It's Sherlonda from Massachusetts. Sherlonda, did you have a story to tell or a question to ask?
I have a question to ask.
Go ahead.
I had a prior case with DCF regarding my older kid. Maybe it started in 2016 and ended late 2019 because DCF early 2019 because DCF wanted to try to keep it open because I had another kid, so they was trying to bank on taking that one too. My daughter is in kinship with my sister, and we don't have the best relationship. And I know it was her who called because she blocked me and everything, and then DCF showed up at my house, and I refused to talk to them. I used my constitutional rights to be silent and everything like that and didn't let them come in. And they decided that they would just be spiteful and open the case anyway. I don't really know why they would open up the case without even having any real evidence. The allegations that I was told were very stupid. And I know it was from my sister. She just wants to have something open on me so because we had an argument about me getting more visits with my child. So I don't really know why they would open up the case, but I know that after 6 months of no contact and no service plan, et cetera, they're supposed to close the case, right?
Well, I'm a licensed attorney here in California. You're in Massachusetts, so I'm not sure. If it was under California law, they wouldn't necessarily have to close the case. But you know what? Are you near Boston?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to give you the name of an attorney who practices in Boston, and he's an excellent attorney in the CPS area. His name is Kevin Seaver. Have you ever heard of his name?
No.
Okay. So he's a private attorney. He's an expert. He's an expert's expert. You can find him on Facebook under the name Kevin Seaver on Facebook.
Oh, wait. I did talk to him, and he told me he couldn't help me because I didn't get enough money. Basically, he told me my income wasn't enough to afford him, so he wouldn't give me even a consultation.
He wouldn't give you a consultation? Well, let's do this. I know Kevin, and I'm going to call him and ask him for a favor, and I'm going to ask him, can he at least give you a consultation, talk to you, and try to help you? Okay? How does that sound?
Okay.
All right. So I want you to call my office on Monday. If I'm not there, leave a message. But call 888-888-6582. And in the meantime, I will be contacting Kevin to see if he can donate an hour or so to you to help you in this struggle. Shalonda, how does that sound? Okay. Hey, and thank you for calling. Keep listening. And you can also catch this on Facebook Live, The Secret, How to Fight Child Protective Services and Win. Thank you, Shalonda. Hey, Art?
Yes, Vince.
So we're running out of time for this show. We got about 4 minutes. I don't know if that's enough time to get involved with another call, but let's try it. Let's talk to Sherry from Los Angeles. Sherry, did you have a story to tell or a question to ask? We have about 4 minutes left.
Okay, my question is, I have a long story to tell you, but the thing I can tell you, to be honest with you, my daughter right now, she's 13 years old, and her dad trying to anyway to take the child from me, and be honest with you, child services was involved. He reported me. I took the private part from my daughter and send it to social media. They come and check me. They're all biased. We hired the attorney from the court in Van Nuys. He get money from my husband, my ex-husband, and they trying to. I'm losing the case. They accuse me for whatever you name it. They said I'm an alcoholic, drug abuser. Smoking cigarettes, and let me be honest with you, and I swear to God, I never seen any drugs in my life, and I'm growing up in a very distant family. I never smoke in my life. I never drink in my life, and I mean alcohol. And this, and also as much as you think, I paid almost over $350,000 in 5 years with all the attorneys. They are losing my case after and after. So we had the court hearing on July 24th, 25th. We supposed to go and show everything to the judge. My daughter, since she was 8 years old, she was talking with adults online. And they are not representing anything to the judge. Judge hasn't seen anything. So my attorney asked me to come to sign the paper, which is he didn't tell me. He didn't ask me, what is that paper you are signing up? He just said that the minor cancel. He's not going to give you the custody because you are not reliable. I said he has to prove it. He has to say something. You know, under the oath, they lied. This is false under the oath. They lied a lot. And I told them my daughter, she's going to do suicide. She was bowling with her dad. I taped everything. I have all the records. They don't want to hear it. Nobody wants to hear it.
Well, Sherry, let me
And
ask
now,
you this. Is this a
sure,
CPS case or DCFS case, or is this a family law matter?
this is family law matter. I reported her dad to the child services 2 months ago. She's Persian Armenian. She told me that do not do that. We are all Persian. We have to have our back. I said, I don't care about it.
Okay,
I don't care where I'm coming from, but this is your responsibility to listen, to hear my daughter's voice. She was kicked out from her dad's house. She was on the street. She called me to come to pick her up.
Sherry?
So you need to, yes.
Sherry, I'm going to have to interrupt you. I'm sorry. We're running out of time. My engineer is giving me the sign to sign off. I want to thank you for calling and keep listening. This has been The Secret, How to Fight Child Protective Services and Win. Art La Cilento, thank you for calling in and being a guest. And Devana on Facebook Live, please call an attorney by the name of Sean McMillan in San Diego, California. He'll be able to refer you to a federal civil rights attorney in Maryland. Thank you again. Keep listening, and we'll see you.